How has NVC helped you question or rediscover your identity beyond social roles? Hi, I'm Yuri Haasz. I'm one of the trainers in the upcoming Germany IIT this September. And this is a question that I have received from time to time, mainly when I talk about my story and where I come from. I was born and raised in Israel to a Jewish family, and I am a grandson of Holocaust survivors from Poland and from Germany. And I have been involved with the Palestine question for over 20 years. I've done work with human rights in the field, working with Jewish Israeli human rights organizations, but also with international ones like Human Rights Watch. And I've done a lot of nonviolent communication dialogic work in the occupied Palestinian territories and with human rights organizations and activists. And so one of the things that happened to me was that coming from my background, I really didn't know much about the story, about what had happened in Palestine as a consequence of the creation of the State of Israel. And that is not part of my and any Jewish Zionist socialization. When I did find out, it created a big shock in my life and an identity crisis. And it really transformed the way I see and understand what is happening there. To find out that Palestinians were purposefully expelled from their land in an ethnic cleansing, a planned ethnic cleansing at the creation of Israel, and that ever since that 78 years ago, there has been no justice for this historic event, and all violence that has appeared since then has been a resistance to the apartheid system that has been imposed by Israel on Palestinians. And looking through that kind of lens really transformed how my identity had been shaped up until then. My identity had been shaped as having been a victim, striving for peace, but never having found a partner for peace among Palestinians, which turned out to not be true and created a lot of understanding that if I were in Palestinians' place, having had my land stolen, I would have been probably experiencing the same anger and frustration and really understanding where people around me are reacting violently to an oppressive regime. That made me question a lot about what had formed and shaped my understanding of who I am in the world, and how changing that story changed my understanding of what needs are being met and who I want to be and what strategies I understand that are supposed to meet needs in the world or not. And I started noticing that it had affected also my openness to looking at other identity characteristics, like being white and understanding, for example, what is the experience of Black people in our world, or of being male and understanding what is the experience of women in our patriarchal world. And it's not just restricted to starting to really see how much racism we have in our world or how much patriarchy, but many other dimensions, such as cis heteronormativity, and just really understanding that people who don't fall into those gender identity categories or sexual orientation categories, how they have been suffering in our systems that don't acknowledge them and their rights, different body abilities, different ages, and it really became an access to how important it is to deconstruct stories that we hold about ourselves and about our world, and being able to access other people's stories and allow myself to be touched by those stories, to feel empathy and connect with empathy to other people's experience, and to connect to the deep needs that are not met for those people, but at the same time, how deep needs are not met for myself. How, for me, it means it is so important to meet needs of protection and respect and equity and freedom and understanding, means to protect those people that have different histories than I, or different experience than I do. And so it becomes a mission of my own to be in the world and question my identity, and to invite people to question their identities. And how can we create a perception and a story that allows for all of us to hold together an intention and real world actions that move in the direction of creating a world where all needs really matter equally. I hope to investigate more of this during the IIT, and I hope you will join us. Hope to see you there. Bye.